Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Robinson, Robinson Ag Marketing with today's post-close grain and livestock comments for Monday, the 12th day of January, 2026. Well, no two ways about it. We had a 30-cent trading range for the whole last 18 months in corn. I think it's like the analogy I would make is if you're driving down the interstate or the turnpike and you don't see a cop for 100 miles, it's easy to creep up from 70 to all of a sudden you're going 100. And because you don't see the policeman, the next thing you know, you're in a speed trap. You get lulled into sleep, and everybody that is a human being gets lulled to sleep. And we forgot that Mr. Market can really move. And here we are today with a 28-cent range in corn, down 24 cents, 186.5 on the average yield, 17 billion bushel crop, 4.5 million extra harvested acres that weren't there in June, and just a surprising crackback. And anybody out there play football? Remember, they used to have the crackback. They're illegal now, but watch football games in the '70s. This is a crackback. And you can waste a lot of breath arguing about the USDA and this, that, and other thing. We have to deal with the numbers that they give us. So it's no fun, but here we are. And yes, there's still more downside risk to corn. If you look at the continuation chart, there's more downside risk. I mean, March corn is only a dime from its contract low from this summer. That's 410. And there's a lot of unpriced corn out there. Now, the good thing is, anybody that wanted to, you could have had a 440 floor on for 4 cents in front of the support. Those puts are worth their weight in gold right now. They went off, they're worth 20 cents. So you can roll them down, you can turn them into futures, but if you've got corn in the bin and you spent 4 cents, you would have had a substitute sale at 440 with the board trading at 420. You'd feel a lot different now than anybody out there who was just rolling the dice. And I understand, because for 18 months you didn't need to do anything. It's like corn's not going to move. We thought beans were going to move because we had that move in October where we rallied $1.50. But corn was basically asleep at the wheel, and now things have changed. Digging through the prices, March corn down 24.25 cents or 421.5. March beans down 13.5 cents. It did manage to come 7 cents off the low. Two other things I want to talk about real quick. If you've been reading my letter, you know that we've been in this corn wedge forever. We broke through that corn wedge today. I've talked about it. I had some guys calling me up and saying, if you talk about that corn wedge one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. But we did break through the bottom of it today. I don't think anybody expected it to be this much of a flush, though. It certainly felt like the funds who really weren't involved in corn, they got involved in corn today. We came into it long about 10 or 15,000 contracts. It feels like they sold probably 20,000. And so they're now flat or possibly a little bit short. Usually it takes them 3 days to do a package, so we'll see what happens. This Friday's settlement is going to be very, very key. This makes me think, I was talking to a client, friend of mine, he's a friend and a client of mine in Indiana, and it makes me think of 2009, 2010, that USDA report, the last time we had a thing like this. Now, the good thing about that was in June, we turned the corner and we started a pretty good rally because we got some weather. We had the acres report came out surprisingly. But, our guy's going to make a decision this year about planting corn now, given what's going on. Are we going to have less corn acres now? So the acres deal, I think, becomes more of a what if moving ahead here. Guys are going to have a new plan, I think, with, Beast corn at 450 and Novi beans at, 1060, 1067. Are there going to be changes in acres? So it's been a long time since we had a nasty report like this. And, hopefully you were hedged. We certainly had some very cheap opportunities on for anybody that wanted to do it. Although I get it. It was, I've been doing this for 30 years. It's hard to want to hedge something when you look at it and say, well, there's not that much risk. Well, I think we're all surprised that we'd have the entire 18-month range here, in one morning, one afternoon. So that was my takeaway on that. I don't, now it's going to be like, where's the bottom? This is just going to be like, The rally we've had in cattle, where's the top? Or the rally we're having right now in silver and gold, where's the top? Now flip it over to the grains. It's like, okay, where are we going to find support? Where are we going to find footing? I got to think that March corn is, as at risk of trading 410 again, which was the August low. If that fails, if we get corn with a three in front of it, you're going to have a lot of people making a lot of decisions about what they're going to do with corn next year. So March corn down 24 and a quarter cent at 421 and a half. March beans down 13 and a half cents, 1049 under 1050. It's hard to believe that March beans, and I'll say it, I'm astounded. March beans back in November were trading 1172. So back down here at this 1050 level is disconcerting. Now the only thing that I can say positive about beans is beans did not take out that low at 1038. The bean numbers were not that drastically out of whack like corn was. So we'll see if some soybean we get a little bit of soybean recovery. We're also going to see, is China going to step in now and buy more on this break? We will see. In the wheat, under pressure there as well. March wheat traded as low as 507, settled at 511, down 6 cents. March Kansas City down 3.5 cents. Actually, I call that a victory. A nickel off its lows. Did settle at 526 and 3/4. As far as what hedges were available, I put it in the letter this morning, and I had a couple guys that were hedging next year's wheat. We were able to get 530 floors out there with the shorter dated options, which protect us for about another 40 days, the March dated ones. We only paid 7 cents for those 530 puts. And if wheat and corn continue to come under pressure here from the fire hose, it's going to be nice to have at least a 530 floor out there in new crop July wheat for anybody that wanted to participate. So we'll see how that turns out. In the cattle market, fat cattle up a buck 40, settled at 236 and change. I'm still watching in April, until we take out the high of this move here, which is up at 238.20. The market feels like it's just taking a breather up here. But again, to be trading at 236 when we were down at 205, what's that $31 worth to you? I keep asking guys that. If $31 is worth something to you, get a hedge. March feeder up a buck 40 at 356 and change. Again, we've had a tremendous $66 rally from the low there at 293.30. We have not taken out 360 yet. If we do, people are going to be talking about that last gap that's up there between 370.675 and gets filled at about let's say 373. Depends on how fast you want to go. You can go all the way up to actually 375. So are we going to go get that gap? I do not know. I tell you this, cattle is going to like cheaper corn, right? So that's got to be friendly for cattle. And in the hogs, I put July deferred in the letter this morning. July deferred out there is trading above 105. That to me is a gift. It's at its contract highs. It's $11 off the November lows. Something you want to look at there if you're a hog producer. So to wrap it all up, I'm going to send out a letter today pointing out where I think the risk is in corn. And there are still some choices out there you can make hedge-wise. But if you ask me, is there more downside risk? Absolutely there is, because we're near the contract low for March, which is at 410. And if you look at the continuation chart for corn, there's some more downside pressure there. So disappointing day from USDA. Again, I compare it to everything else. People, you get used to not moving in corn. You get used to not worrying about big moves. You think you don't need. It's like it's like driving around and you're like, I don't need to put my seatbelt on, and I'm just going to go down to the grocery store. When the fact is that I think it's something crazy, like 70% of all fatal car accidents happen within 2 miles of your house. It's because people aren't paying attention. They don't think there's any risk. They've been on that road 1,000 times, and that's kind of what I feel happened here today in the grain market. Okay, so there's a lot of 2026 ahead of us yet. Don't be all doom and gloom with me. There's still some choices out here. There's still stuff worth protecting. If you need help, give me a call, 312-638-8868. I can't promise you that things are going to get better, but there are some steps we can take to mitigate the rest of the risk that's out there, and also to try and take advantage of stuff. Now, for those of you who hedged, if you bought the 4 cent puts in corn, if you bought the 6, 7, 8 cent puts in beans, well, make sure you get paid on those. I just had a gentleman call me up, doesn't work with me, but he does get my letter, and he asked me, what would I do? I told him what I would do, how to manage the value of those puts. So if you're looking for help, take a look at my letter, robinsonagmarketing.com. I have my recommendations out there every day. If you need help, give me a call. Take care.